Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Is this the worst transfer window ever? Ever? No, look, is it the worst transfer window here? We're sat here on the middle of July, and I'm not just talking about Manchester United, I'm talking about the collective as well. I'm talking about the collective here because I just think that I'm only including the Premier League in this. I'm not including I think if you look at what Madrid and Barcelona are doing, that's pretty respectable. If you look at Juventus, that's been quite good. But I think the Premier League has been such a letdown with 3 weeks to go, like 3 weeks to go today, and it's been a real letdown. Look, as a Manchester United fan, obviously, I do think we'll get a couple of more deals done, but it's not. I think you go into the transfer window, and I do think a lot of it is because of how soon it opens. I think you open up in the middle of May, and it's a waste of time. We've got Wenger and that lot to blame for that, but I do think that it is a really disappointing window, and I think Ndembele for Spurs is a fantastic signing, and I think he could be one of the signings of the summer across the whole of Europe. But apart from that, Rodri to Newcastle just sounds like a character from Only Fools and Horses. I mean, he's a decent signing. Liverpool haven't really done anything yet. Maybe they will get Nicola Pepe. Arsenal are Arsenal. Chelsea can't do anything. It's not their fault. And then Manchester United, who were meant to have this massive summer, not really. And I must just say, there's some people in the live comments talking about it. And I'm not talking about Europe. I'm really talking about the Premier League here and the lack of activity across the whole Premier League. I mean, to be honest with you, you don't really notice what the teams below the sort of top 6, 7, 8 are doing. But have Everton signed anybody? Have Wolves signed anybody? Rodney to Newcastle. I meant Rodri to Manchester City. Don't get excited, Newcastle. You probably will sign Rodney from Only Fools and Horses, but there isn't, and it surprises me in some ways. I mean, West Ham have done quite good business drunk. To be fair, that recent signing is very good, but this and Villa have spent a bit of money. See, that's what I mean. I don't really notice the lower clubs doing stuff because it doesn't get the mainstream media. But when I talk a hell of a lot more with regards to Arsenal, I mean, they've got no money and they're not spending it. Delph's gone to Everton, says Abdullah, and Man City, I mean, what I would just say about Man City and Liverpool, because that's football, it's not just about Manchester United, of course. And what I would say about Man City and Liverpool is Man City, again, fell quite heavily in the Champions League yet again. Yes, they've been knocked out by English clubs on both occasions, but obviously they're lacking something. Liverpool missed out on the title by 2 points or a point or whatever. 2 points, wasn't it really? And they won the Champions League, fair enough. But you would think that with Real Madrid and Barcelona improving, the Champions League is going to be harder to win next year. And also, Liverpool didn't win the league, and Manchester City didn't win the Champions League. So where is their improvement? Where is their growth? And I'm surprised that they haven't done that yet, because it has surprised me how little activity there's been in the Premier League this year. Premier League, when we have the richest league in the world, and there just doesn't seem to be a lot of activity, and I don't know why that is. And that's the purpose of the video. There it is. That's the purpose of the video there, pure and simple every time, because I don't actually understand why it hasn't been done. I feel that La Liga will bounce back next season. Barcelona, if they get Neymar and Coutinho, that's a massive improvement, isn't it? With Messi as well. Real Madrid have got Zidane, which is a big improvement, and they've also brought in some good players, so they're going to improve. So I don't think the Premier League, after all these years, we've established ourselves as the number one league in world football. And I'll argue that with anybody, because we won the Premier League and we won the Europa League. And I don't like using the collective we, because I don't count myself as a Liverpool or Chelsea fan at all. But we dominated Europe as a Premier League. And will we do that next season? After all the progress, will we do that next season? I don't know. And I don't actually understand, like I said, why there's been a lack of activity, certainly from the likes of Liverpool, because I look at Liverpool and I think, yeah, you've got a good front three, but you got away with it last year. You know, if Mo Salah does his hamstring and Firmino does his knee, what have you got in depth to come in? With regards to Man City, they do have depth. Where would you improve Man City's team? I think he wants a centre-back instead of with Company going, but I mean, maybe Man City are well equipped. Maybe they don't need one or two players. But I think it's been a boring transfer window, Luca. I agree with you. And I love the transfer window. For years, I've loved the transfer window. And I just don't think it's been a very, very good one. Bringing it back to Manchester United, I hope that Manchester United are going to get that. They're the United stand shorts out there. Look, they're United stand shorts. It's artistic the way they're blowing in the summer wind. But I'm using my selfie stick today, so it just means that I can move around a little bit like that. And oh, there we go. It's much easier. I should have been doing this before. You know, this cost £5 from Amazon. YouTube money's coming in. But seriously, so from Manchester United's point of view, the ideal transfer window, I think, for any club is that you get your business done in June, you go on pre-season and you get to look at your new signings and you get excited about the new season. I think with Manchester United's point of view, and Liverpool, to be honest, and Arsenal, we've not done the business that we needed to do. We've still got 3 weeks to do it. I think if you look at the news today, Harry Maguire is desperate to get out of Leicester, but the valuation's not been met by Manchester United or Manchester City yet, and it will be Manchester United, of course. Bruno Fernandes runs on and on. Sean Longstaff, well, Newcastle have got a new manager now, and Steve Bruce. Lukaku has still not gone to Italy. But if you look at, like we talk about Real Madrid and Barcelona, if you look at the Italian clubs, again, lots of business being done in Italy. And still got lots of time to do it because their league, their transfer window doesn't close till later than ours. So, yeah, I just was sat there today and I thought, I haven't done video on That's Football for ages. And actually, collectively, I don't think there's many fans in the Premier League that would say this has been a good transfer window. Aston Villa, probably by the sounds of it, but from a Manchester United point of view, and from a Liverpool point of view, and Man City point of view, and Arsenal point of view, and maybe even a Spurs point of view. Spurs have only bought Ndembele. I think he's a very good signing, but I would say that Spurs, if they want to close, Spurs are the team that can close the gap on Liverpool and Man City. United can't, Chelsea can't, and Arsenal never will. So Spurs have got an opportunity there to retain their good players and bring a couple of players in and, hopefully close the gap on those teams above them. But like Lucas says, will City win the league again? And I can't see anybody else winning the league other than City because everybody's pretty much stayed the same. I think there's a natural progression with Spurs because Ndembele makes them better. But if Eriksen leaves, does he? Will they bring Lo Celso in, as they were rumoured to, because he will improve them? Liverpool, if they bring Nicola Pepe in, improves them. That's an improvement signing. Is that going to happen? But for me, it's all set there for Man City to just go out and win it again. And I don't, as a United fan, United are not in the title race anyway, but United do need to go and bring 2 or 3 more players in. VAR's coming in next season, says Abdullah. It will do. I'm sure we'll talk about that over the next few weeks because VAR, I think, is going to destroy the Premier League next season. I've said that for so long. Charlie says you're actually so petty. Add another sentence there, Charlie. You haven't got 20 characters. You can say more. Only one person to blame if we don't get the players, said Jamie, and that's the board. Yeah, well, from a Manchester United point of view, that is the case. But just look at the Spurs situation here, because we're not just talking about Manchester United, but it's the same for everybody apart from probably Man City, who I think, Cheese Bella, you're right, it is VAR's Chris Smalling's biggest nightmare. But you look at Spurs' season last year, especially around January time, where they got loads and loads of injuries. And then they got Harry Kane injury at the end. Spurs don't have the squad to adapt to that. And have they done enough over the summer to adapt to another injury crisis? No. Liverpool, have they got the squad to adapt to a big injury crisis? Probably better than Spurs, but not quite as good as City's. Man City, I think, fine, but they can adapt to an injury crisis because let's consider the fact that De Bruyne missed most of last season and they still won the league. Manchester United, again, I don't think so. I don't think they have. Manchester United, sorry, they don't have the depth if they lose a Paul Pogba or a Wan-Bissaka even now. I think he's become key. So I think that the lack of activity really does surprise me. Will we see some activity in the last 3 weeks from, almost like a mad dash? And I suppose that's a theory that we should all cling on to positively, because flipping it on its head, will we see a big transfer deadline on August the 8th, says Phil Goodman? Well, yes, flipping it on its head, everybody knows the Premier League is the richest league in the world. So if that is the case, and United want, and Liverpool want Pepe from Lille, and United want Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, and Manchester City want Cancelo, and Spurs want Lo Celso, and Arsenal just want someone to come, anybody will do, Sainsbury's checkout, anybody will do, then whoever's selling those players know that Premier League clubs are rich, so they're probably going, yeah, Lo Celso's worth 50 million, but we want 70. So you get into that negotiation thing, don't you? And I mean, our club's just holding out, trying to wait it out towards the end, so that these clubs have to say, "All right, we'll do a deal." And maybe that is going to be the case. I don't know, but I certainly know from a United perspective that that is what we're doing. We're trying to wait out deals to get the best possible price. Certainly with Sporting Lisbon, and I think a little bit with Leicester as well, who want silly money. But maybe that's what other clubs are doing as well. But it's certainly very, very quiet. And I've got to say, you know, being a United fan, doing the United stand, you get a lot of people moaning about clubs. What I would say is, I think there are certain Premier League clubs in the top six that needed to do a lot more business than they've done, and I would put Manchester United in that category as well. Arsenal, if they had any money, do need, you know, I mean, let's be honest, Arsenal finished fifth last year, got absolutely annihilated in the Europa League final. They need as much of they need as much as a rebuild as Manchester United. They just haven't got the money to do it, have they? And the same go. I mean, Chelsea, new managers coming in, great stuff, but you know they've got a transfer ban, so it's going to be interesting to watch those. But yeah, I just don't think the transfer window has been very good. I don't, and to be honest with you, next year, I'll probably look at it in a totally different way to this year, because I'll go, well, remember last year it was a bit crap. Maybe the lack of a major tournament has highlighted the fact that it's been a long summer in some ways, but I don't think it has been. I don't think it has been. You know, sometimes I dread these summers where there's no World Cup or there's no Euros. But especially when Manchester United season effectively ended in the middle of April because we were shit. We've been waiting since the middle of April for the season to start and to do some business, and it still has gone relatively quick. There was a good comment there about the year of the golden cage, says Maxim Bolotov. Well, we were talking about this on the United Stand, I think, with when we had the guest from Get French Football News. I mean, look, somebody just said there, is it the worst transfer window ever, though? I mean, from a Premier League point of view, is it? Is it Manchester United's worst Premier League transfer window ever? No, it's not. We've had some shit transfer windows. We've had the Sir Alex Ferguson's, there's no value in the market. We had at least 2 or 3 of those. I think last summer for Manchester United was worse than this one. I think Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James are a better transfer window than Fred and Delot and Phil and Grant. So, yeah, I think we've already bettered that as United. But as a collective Premier League transfer window, I think this is one of the worst. Obviously, that is, and let's argue it out. But Chelsea obviously would normally spend money. They can't. They've got a transfer ban. Arsenal would like to spend money, but they've only got monopoly money. Man City normally spend a lot of money, but for some reason they've only bought Rodri in. Liverpool bought a lot of players last year, so maybe they're not buying players this year. Spurs don't normally buy anybody, but have bought somebody. Manchester United have bought 2, but I do collectively think it's a bit, you know, it is one of the worst transfer windows in the Premier League for a long time, which is interesting. It is interesting, and it'll be interesting to see what impact that has on other players soon. Now, let me just say, I am streaming this on my phone, but I'm doing it on like 4G instead of the Wi-Fi because I'm just testing stuff out, because I'm off on my holiday soon, so I will be streaming off this phone. So I just want to check a few things out. So if it cuts out or lags, apologies, but I'm running tests. I'm running some tests, and it may just cut out altogether at some point. If it does that, then I do apologise for that. Looks like Fred could. Somebody just said Arsenal ask homeless people to play for them. Yeah, they've got a problem, haven't they, Arsenal? And it will of course be a problem for them next season. But look, I have a theory that this Premier League season, I don't think a Premier League club's going to win the Champions League next year. I don't see enough of an investment from either Arsenal. It's not Arsenal. They're not going to win the Champions League. They're not in it. They're in the Europa League with us. I don't see enough of an investment from teams like Arsenal. Sorry, I've done it again. From Liverpool's not good. What I'm actually trying to do is I'm trying to get a stream to 20 minutes, because the last couple of times I've done it, the stream has just died around 15, 16, 17 minutes. If anyone watched the one I did with Rants the other day, it just died. So I'm just trying to see if it will carry on. Tottenham will buy Lo Celso, regardless, as JSB. So yeah, predictions on the top 6 transfers, because I think that's always interesting. I'm going to do a few like Premier League predictions over the next few weeks as well. There will be an 8 o'clock show tonight, Philip, on the United Stand. But yeah, my predictions on what I think has been the worst Premier League season so far, Premier League transfer window so far. I think this is the worst Premier League transfer window so far across the top 6 sides. There are factors, like I say, the Chelsea transfer ban, but I think Man City will bring one more in. I think they will bring Cancelo in. It's gone very quiet on that, but I think they will. The Dwiz thinks they'll bring Koulibaly in. Well, that would be a killer if we get Maguire and they get Koulibaly, because he's the better player, Koulibaly. I think Liverpool will bring Nicola Pepe in. I think so. They'll bring one in. Man City will bring one more in. Spurs, I think, will bring Lo Celso in and another one. I think Spurs will do 2 signings more after Ndembele. Arsenal will get the Sainsbury's checkout lady, and maybe they'll get one of the people who sell the scarves out the front. Maybe he'll do a job at right back for them. And Chelsea won't buy anyone because of the transfer ban. We've done Spurs, Liverpool, yeah, and Manchester United. I think we'll get Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, and Longstaff. So I think United will make 3. I think Chelsea, none. Arsenal, who cares? Arsenal fans, you are getting a bit of banter, aren't you? But the funny thing about Arsenal fans is they'll agree with me. You do agree with me, Arsenal fans, don't you? You know your ownership's crap. Just the same as United. You know it is, but we just have a little bit more money. But yeah, and I think Liverpool will get Pepe in, another player for City, probably Cancelo, and 2 players for Spurs. But even then, I still think it'll be the worst transfer window in Premier League history for the top 6. Yeah, I do. Arsenal won't even compete for top 6, says Dwiz. We do agree, mate, says Charlie. See, Arsenal fans can take the banter. You know, they're not all like the knob in the hat, are they? They can take the banter because they know it. And from a Manchester United point of view, let me just say, it's probably not enough, even if we just get Maguire, Bruno Fernandes and Longstaff. I think we needed a right winger ourselves. But then maybe we'll get, what's his face? Mason Greenwood will cover that problem. Wilfried Zaha's interesting. I actually have a funny feeling, if Arsenal fans, you've been bantered enough, I've got a funny feeling Arsenal will get Wilfried Zaha. I don't know how they're going to do it. Virgil Hainsey says probably smart, but even the newly promoted clubs are not buying players. Well, that's the yo-yo effect, isn't it? It's a good idea to do that if you're a newly promoted side. Take your Premier League money and just try and back your way to stay up in the first season. But now I've got a funny feeling Arsenal will get Zaha. I don't know where they're going to get the money from. I don't know whether they're going to do like Knockador car washing. Maybe they can all do that, or sponsored kiss from Bellerin. They should just do a big charity day and get people like Robbie to come down with his millions and try and save up 70 million to sign Wilfried Zaha. But I've just got a funny feeling Arsenal will sign Wilfried Zaha because I think he wants to go there. Unless Spurs nip in and get Zaha, I've always fancied him as a player. But yeah, Amazon vouchers. You know what Arsenal could do as well? You know, in a wad of £20 notes, like you've got £1,000, maybe the first 2 or 3 can be 20s and the bottom 3 can be 20s. And then the middle bit can all be like fake money, and just give it them and run. So yeah, it's still going to cost them. If you've got 3 20s on the top, that's 60, 3 on the bottom, that's 60. They're still going to need 120 quid to do the fakes. So they're still going to have to get some money from somewhere. So I definitely think begging, busking, washing cars, yeah, charity drive, everything. And Arsenal will get the money eventually to sign Wilfried Zaha. So that's probably the way they need to go. Yeah. Yes. But no, I do think Arsenal will get Zaha. It's interesting because Manchester United paid £50 million for Wan-Bissaka, which I'm happy with. It's not my money. It is really. But I'm not unhappy with the signing of Wan-Bissaka. I think, you know, if you've got a choice between getting kicked in the nuts every day or somebody, you know, buying you a nice pair of pants and giving you a stroke, then you're going to have the pants and a pair of stroke, aren't you? Because that's what Wan-Bissaka effectively is. And Ashley Young was kicking us in the nuts every day. So anybody was an improvement. You know, anybody was an improvement on Ashley Young, but we've got a good improvement there. But if Wan-Bissaka's worth 50 million, then I'm sorry, Wilfried Zaha's worth at least 70, isn't he? And you know the best thing about this Arsenal? When you pay 60 million for Wilfried Zaha, we get 15. You basically don't give the 60 million to Crystal Palace. Just send 15 million care of Old Trafford straight away, because that's what we get. We get 25% of any Wilfried Zaha sale, which is great for Manchester United. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to a 50. But that's interesting as well. I mean, I probably wouldn't mention this on the United Stand, but there's been a lot of debate about how much clubs have got to spend this summer. Manchester United, I always felt they had 200 million to spend. But if you think about it, if United get 15 million off Zaha, they get 60 million off Lukaku, That's £75 million they've made this summer. Probably get another 10 off Darmian, £85 million. That is more than what we've paid for Bissaka and James. So we'd actually be making a profit. Obviously, we're going to go and buy Maguire and hopefully Fernandes and Longstaff. But I think United's net spend is probably going to come in at about £150 million. Yeah. United have got a £200 million budget, says GBDFs. Maguire is signed for City. Yeah, I don't think he has. I really don't think Maguire will go to City because I just don't think Manchester City will want to pay that sort of money, to be honest with you. Anyway, the stream's worked well. It's not crashed. I don't know why it crashes when I'm out and about sometimes, but it's gone well, which is good. Please do subscribe to the channel if you do. Smash a like on the video. And yeah, I'm getting hot in the conservatory, so I've got to stop. But interesting. I think it is the worst transfer window in the Premier League history. I really, really do. FIFA will be back at some point. Yes, Gregor. I don't know whether I'll be doing it before I go on holiday, but it will definitely be back. And I'm edging towards doing a third season rather than pro clubs, which to me just looks like I'll get bored shitless of that. But thanks everybody who's got involved in this channel. Everybody's welcome. I do try and talk about all clubs. Even Arsenal gets a mention. Arsenal fans know. They know. You know the banter's real. That's the hard thing, isn't it? It's like me as a United fan. We've got to take some banter at the moment, haven't we? So I'll catch you all later. I will be on the United stand at 8 o'clock tonight. And big shout out. I've messed it up a little bit then. Big shout out to the selfie stick, which just kept it a lot easier. And you can just spin around the conservatory. Don't worry, I'm not watching. I'm not watching any porn. Thanks for watching. Speak to you later.